Hello and welcome to the Bold Outdoors YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about these seats, and more specifically we're going to talk about the different mounting designs or styles that you can do here. And so what we talked about in the previous video was about these seats. So these are PRP XC Seats, and I initially went out with the factory slider, factory setup and everything like that, and you felt like you sat really high, like you're tall, like you're sitting up on the machine. And it was a weird feeling, but after a while, going down the trails and whatnot, you did get used to it, but still it didn't feel quite normal, so to speak. So what I did was I eliminated the slider position. Now, for the most part, I didn't really use the sliding function. It was mainly when like a taller or a shorter driver, in my particular machine, they would adjust the seat. But for me, I always kept it the same no matter what. And it was usually almost all the way back, if not one click forward, I believe is what I usually did. However, you know, like I said, with the factory setup in these seats, it felt like you're sitting really high and really tall. So I eliminated the slider function. This particular seat, so the driver's seat right now, you have the factory plastic base, no sliding function, and the PRP seats come with some spacer rails to use the sliding function. Those have been eliminated. So it's basically the seat bolted directly to the OEM plastic base, and it's adjusted all the way back. Very, very comfortable. I like that seating position. However, a popular upgrade a lot of people do is called a drop base or a seat lowering base. So on this one, it has an L&W Fab Seat Lowering Base. Now, when they say a lowering base, what they're really referring to is tilting the seat back. They're actually not really lowering the seat per se. So it's kind of semantics. Anyway, so this side, on the passenger side, I have it set up with the L&W Fab Seat Lowering Base, adjusted all the way back. So you can see it's touching here. This one is adjusted all the way back according to the plastic base. Now, the issue that I see with this style, with this design I should say, is that it does angle the seat back, almost like an X3. It angles it back. However, when it does that, because you can only go back so far, it actually pushes the front out and up. You can see that definitely here. So compare the two. The L&W Fab versus the OEM Plastic Base. So that one over there, it's lower and further back. This one is a little bit higher and a little bit further forward. So what I wanted to do for you guys today, we are here at Bunt School Road. So that's the trail here. Up there is the Ironclads. We're going to go down this way. What we'll do is I'll give like a running commentary on this seat and how the fit and function and how comfortable it is. At the turnaround point, I'll switch the seats and I'll put the L&W Fab over on this side, and then give a little bit of a commentary coming back, and we'll see which one is better. But so far today, I already like having the slider function removed and dropping the seat down. It's definitely a lot comfortable. And these seats overall are more comfortable than the RZR seats, OEM RZR seats. Not that I really complained too much about the RZR seats as they were. I mean, I actually found them perfectly fine. But got a really, really good deal on these. Needed to spend something on my tax return, so custom seats. Here we go. So as I was saying, with having that slider function removed, now you sit down into the machine and a little bit further back. It doesn't feel like you're up on top of the machine. So the PRP seats with the factory slider function, as I said, you sit, it feels like you sit really tall. It's a weird kind of feeling. But with that function removed, and dropping the seat down, now you feel in the machine. I like it. And as I already mentioned, like my seating position on the factory stock seats. I think I was like one notch forward of all the way back. I don't particularly like, you know, having my arms and legs like straight out. I kind of like to be up on the steering wheel. So my general impression right now is I think I would like to move the seat forward to get my kind of elbow angle a little bit better. However, I think it would cramp my legs a little bit. So this is going to have to be a little bit of the compromise. Another thing with these seats is that they're bigger and they're wider than the stock RZR seats. And if you've ever noticed kind of what I do, my method of operations, I always keep my camera equipment here in the middle, and now I can't do that. There's no space. Another thing is, like, when I shed coats and layers, I've always stuffed it behind the seat, and now there's not much room there either. So you sort of lose a little bit of functionality by going to a more comfortable seat. I'd have to say my overall general impression is that with the current setup right here, you feel more in the machine and more with the machine, even compared to the factory seats. Another downside that I can think of with the PRP seats and with the sliding function is more of a chore getting in and out, because it felt like you're always having to go up, almost like you need running boards to step in. It was kind of weird. And you might be asking, well, did you try the lowering base with the factory slider? And the short answer to that is sorta. What it is, I installed it in the garage, sat in the machine, and immediately did not like it. So with the factory slider option and the L&W Fab lowering bases, like, it just brought that front end so far up, like you didn't have much room underneath the steering wheel. And I'm a smaller guy. I can't imagine a 200, 250, 300 pound dude with a seat lowering base and PRP seats. Doesn't seem like a good combination. And because the seats are rigid mounted right now, you know, I can't really do an adjustment on the fly. I mean, I could. It's just 4 bolts. So you could adjust it on the trail if you really needed to. Initially, what I think is going to be is with this L&W seat on the driver's side here, I bet it's going to feel like my arms are too far away. My arms are too straight for the steering wheel. And we're back. So now I'm currently in the L&W Fab Seat Lowering Base. It's different. I need to kind of gather my thoughts here. I'd have to say my initial impressions are it is actually more comfortable. However, my kind of concern there that is going to push my legs forward and my arms back is correct. So it's kind of like, what's the lesser of two evils between the two? And I guess what I was alluding to is, like, I'd rather my legs were extended a little bit, but my arms are a little more, had a little more of an elbow angle to it. I don't know what the race car terms for any of that is. Although if you do see, you know, NASCAR, monster truck, stuff like that, rallycross, they sit really close to the steering wheel. Whereas a lot of side-by-side owners, they seem to prefer to have their arms kind of straight out for some reason. I don't particularly like that. To be perfectly honest, I would need more seat time between the two to give a really good opinion. If I had to choose today and only had to make one choice and be stuck with it, I would go with the factory plastic base, no sliding function. My number 2 choice would be the L&W Fab Seat Lowering Base. No sliding function. There is a company out there, Rock Ready UTV, that recently came out with an adjustable seat lowering base. Adjustable in the sense that you can adjust the seat angle. That's pretty neat. Because I bet a seat angle between this and the factory would probably be ideal. Whatever angle that ends up being. The L&W Fab seat lowering bases, at the time that I got them, I believe were $90 for the set. Free shipping. So, it's not a bad deal. If you're the kind of person that is looking for, you know, more of an angled seat back, maybe if you're the kind of person that wants more room for your arms, less room for your legs, that'd probably be a good option for you. Me in particular, I would prefer it almost the other way. More room for my legs, and then more upright for the steering. Now the other concern that probably many of us have, and that's probably why a lot of us choose the RZR over the X3, is sightlines. The RZR has fantastic sightlines, especially for rock crawling compared to X3, because X3 has a more laid back seat style, and the sightlines are horrible on that machine, and they're fantastic on a RZR. Currently right now, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's great. I am strapped in. I mean, I do have my straps a little bit loose so that I can maneuver and look around a little bit. I mean, I can see my driver's side front tire, so I can see the placement of it, especially for rock crawling. That wouldn't be too bad. But the sight line over there, I wouldn't say is great, at least compared to a fully stock factory setup. And not that I would say this setup over here is that much better than what I have right now, because I have my, like I said, my straps are kind of loose, and I can move, you know, kind of nudge forward here and see my sight lines. I think this would be the ideal setup for racing. If you're doing short course racing, or you're on a trail that you have good sight, you know, trail sight, you know where you're going, what you're doing, who's coming, and what you're approaching, and you're able to just kind of push yourself back into the seat, this is extremely comfortable. Alrighty guys, so in conclusion, what would I say? And to be perfectly honest, I'm not really sure. They are more comfortable than factory seats. I will give it that. Not that I ever really complained about the factory seats. I actually liked the seats, but there's a lot of complaints about them. That's why these are so popular. So, with that being said, with the factory sliding option and the PRP seats, I did not like that setup. They were comfortable. I give it that. It was comfortable. However, it was harder to get in and out. You felt like you were up on top of the machine, which made it a little like uneasy, kind of uncomfortable, and just overall just didn't like that experience. So phase 2 here is go ahead and eliminating the sliding option and just mounting it directly to the base. So at this point here, we have the L&W Fab on the driver's seat, the seat lowering base, and we have the factory plastic base mounted on the passenger side. And between these two, I think overall I would say the factory plastic base and the PRP seat, no sliding option, is fantastic. Very comfortable, good sight lines, and easy to get in and out. I felt like my legs and my arms were proportional. It felt okay. It could be a little better. However, it is what it is. The L&W Fab, so just cruising down there, I was like able to kind of press myself into the seat, and kind of just chill out. It was extremely comfortable. So if you're doing like long rides, maybe not too many slow speed rock crawl, and you're able to just kind of chill out, you know, lean back and chill out, that was probably a good option for you. However, I didn't like that it's pushing the bottom forward, which is, you know, kind of cramping your legs more, and being tilted back, it makes your arms extended more. So you're kind of going the opposite way here. One thing I noticed too, it kind of does put a little bit of pressure on your thighs here on the front. That's something kind of to keep in mind on that. So yeah, let me step back here. So this is a good visual between the two. So you can see L&W Fab on the driver's side and the plastic base on the passenger. And look at how much of a difference that is right there. So for those of you that have an extremely chopped cage and you're having like helmet issue clearances, this is probably a really good option for you. I mean, you're dropping it down. I know there's guys on YouTube and the internet have measured that, but that's a good 2-3 inches lower comparing the two. Easy 3 inches lower. So maybe more. So that's something probably for you guys with the chopped cages, the extremely chopped cages, and you're wearing helmets. That's something that you might keep in mind. Or if you're an extremely tall rider, that might be something to keep in mind too. But what I'm going to do actually is just go ahead and leave this setup as is. I'm not going to make any drastic decisions or anything like that. And just kind of go back and forth and see which one I like. No big deal. I mean, if it comes down to it, I can just throw the L&W Fab up on a Facebook Marketplace or something like that. I'm sure they'll sell really quick. No big deal. So, again, this is kind of like a PRP seat lowering base kind of video. Something I wanted to do for you guys. A little bit of an informal, educational video. Lately, it's been a lot of winching and snow videos, so I figure I better kind of bring the education back a little bit. Make it fun. Yeah. Man, it was snowing like crazy back there, and it's not doing anything here. Colorado's bipolar. So, stay safe. The current conditions that we're in right now, it's kind of weird. Out here, social distancing, as they say. All by myself. All right. Again, this is Bullet Outdoors. If you like what I do, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.